All right, what's going on, y'all? It's BoxingWave. Make sure you subscribe. So we're finally getting this fight. All right, the fight is tonight. Lomachenko, Nicholas Walters. We're getting it on HBO tonight. All right, so definitely tune in. I've made videos on this fight. Okay, in the past, when I thought we were gonna get it in the beginning of the year, Bomb Arum at that time came out and said that the fight was done, that we were getting the fight. Okay, so I did a pretty thorough breakdown early this year. I just checked out the video a few days ago. I'll leave that in the description, the link. So if you want to watch a full length video of me discussing this fight, go and check that out. I also made a video discussing why the fight did not happen. All right, because we didn't get the fight. It was canceled. And it had to do with money. And I did a long, lengthy video speaking on that, where I compared the purses of these two fighters, and what other fighters were giving. It was a pretty lengthy video, well received. Shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation, because he's the one that put out the interviews discussing all of this money talk between Lomachenko and Rigo and Walters and all that. So I did a video on that. I will also leave that in the description if you want to check it out. Okay, pretty good videos. All right. So now now we're in November. We're finally getting the fight, and this is how I feel. Um, I've been tuned into the YouTube community. A lot of people, a lot of channels, Fight Critic, Fair Shake. I was listening to their videos, and I think I might have listened to a Dwyer video a while ago though. But I was listening to the YouTube community, and everybody's making solid videos. All right, I do. I am leaning towards Lomachenko. Okay, I think Lomachenko is gonna get a decision. All right, um, but I kind of want to say it's 50-50 fight, maybe more like 60-40 towards Lomachenko. Okay, I think Lomachenko is the favorite to win this. All right, but I do think in 130 that Walter's got the best shot at beating him right now. Okay, I think this is a very important matchup, because if you don't already have Lomachenko as a top 10 pound for pound fighter, I think after this fight, will I think he should be. I mean, if he's not, and if he is to win this fight, he should be at least mentioned. I don't know. I think, I don't know. Whatever you choose to put him at, this is a big fight for him. And in my opinion, this is his biggest test. All right. Regardless of what happened in the Salido fight, that was a huge test there, because it was his second fight trying to go for a title shot. But this fight here is a dangerous fight for him, because there's a good chance he might get knocked out if he get caught with a shot. He is fighting one of the hardest hitting punchers, pound for pound, in boxing. Okay? And then with Nicholas Walters, the thing with him is he's not getting the credit for what he's done. I mean, even for me, it's just a lot of people don't believe he's really that good. Now they do. Okay, but I feel like he's fighting on HBO, and he's getting overshined by all of these other fighters that's in or around his weight division, you know? And there's these gaps in his career where he didn't fight all this year. Okay, and then he had the Sosa fight, which was a draw. A lot of people were upset about that. I thought he won the fight, but I also thought that it was very competitive. It's like one of those fights where he won just about almost all of the rounds, in my opinion, but he barely won each round, but he's still collecting the points. That's how I looked at that fight. And then it's he's just not getting the credibility he deserves. Like HBO, they promote Lomachenko heavy, as the most technically sound fighter in the world. Just like they promote Roman Gonzalez as the pound for pound fighter in the world. And I feel like Nicholas Walters, he's just getting left out there. He's not really getting mentioned as much as these other guys when he's a really good fighter. And he's making me more of a believer with each and every fight. Even with that Sosa fight, I was still impressed because he fought Sosa's fight. He fought a close range fight, inside fight where he has long reach. He can fight on the outside very good, but he fought a very close fight with Sosa, and he looked good doing it. He rolled the punches well. His inside game was pretty good, and this guy is Nicholas Walters, and that's the thing with guys with power, and we learned that with Sergey Kovalev. Like, when you have a lot of power, people just think of you as a good fighter, but because you have all this power, and it was like Nicholas Walters is a very skilled boxer, and he just doesn't get the credit for it. He really doesn't, right? But he's improving with every fight, and it's a big fight for both, because if Walters win this fight, now people are going to really start paying attention to him, because everyone knows who Lomachenko is at this point. And if you don't know, there's all these highlight videos out here showing him. I was on WorldStar the other day and I saw a video of Lomachenko on WorldStar. Him, showing his defense and his head moving. Everybody knows he's very athletic. But now he's being exposed, and people are checking him out. Even somebody at work one day, I was at work, somebody came up to me like, yo, Paul, you seen this kid? Vasyl Lomachenko, he wouldn't even say his name right. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yo, that kid is amazing, because, he's getting pushed heavy. But this fight here is dangerous. Now, I think I was trying to go back. I went back and watched the Salido fight, right? I didn't watch the whole fight, but, I watched some, bits and pieces of it, right? And I was trying to figure out, what can Nicholas Walters do to beat this guy? Obviously, he has a puncher's chance. Let's just look outside of the punches. How can he win rounds? How can he win a decision against Lomachenko? How can he outbox Lomachenko? All right? And I'm seeing that, I already knew this, but I'm seeing things that Salido did in that fight that Walters I've not seen him do. Okay? And I'm not saying he's not capable of doing it. It's just his style, Walters is a pretty flat-footed guy. He's very slow on his feet. He prefers to fight a rangier fight because of his reach and because he has a great jab. Good counterpuncher, solid counterpuncher. And if you get too close, he likes to get you, catch you with that uppercut, right? Cool. But Salido, the way Salido fought that fight, when you go back and watch it now, you're like, damn, even with Lomachenko and his athleticism, his ring generalship, his defense and everything, his angles, he wasn't able to use it against Salido. Salido came in weighing 147. He was as big as a welterweight. Lost his title because obviously he didn't make weight, but blew up. Gave this guy like 80 freaking low blows, okay? Went to his body the whole time, stayed close, jumped in, used his feet to get on the inside and just roughed him up. Lomachenko never was able to really get off like that until the end of the fight. Salido used his experience and made it a rough night for Lomachenko because he fought a dirty fight and he won the fight because of it. And there was no other way Salido was going to win that fight. Salido tried to outbox him on the outside. It wasn't going to work out for him. All right? He knew that. And the way Salido fought that fight, I don't think Nicholas Walters could fight that way. I just don't think he can. Now, there's times where I've seen his fights and I was like more impressed, like, oh, snap, he's good. He could do this, he could do that. But the way Salido fought that fight, I can't see Walters fighting that same way. So I don't know what Walters would have to do. Obviously, the obvious, we all say he'll use his jab. He got the reach advantage. Lomachenko knows how to get around that, though. You got to understand, Lomachenko has probably the best upper body movement out there, and his angles and his head movement. He's going to slip those jabs. He's going to get around those jabs. He's going to get around those, I think the body shots is what Walters need to do. I think that's his best bet. Go to the body all night long from the beginning, from the first round. Slow this kid down. Catch him with something heavy later. That's the only strategy I can really say. Slow this guy down because Walters is a good fighter, man. And you know what? We can't expect Lomachenko to just be coming in there and doing the show off like he's fighting with these other guys. And Rocky Martinez, not taking nothing away from him. He's a good fighter. He's a good boxer and everything. But he's not on Lomachenko's level. And I don't even think he's on Walters' level by any means, all right? I think Salido won that last fight. I thought Salido clearly won that last fight. That was a draw. Okay, the first fight was messy. The first fight, Salido had knockdowns. It was knockdowns in the fight. It was low blows. It was crazy. But this last fight, I thought Salido won it clearly. All right, didn't give it to him. And Rocky's good, but when Rocky usually step up to the elite guys, he doesn't look too good. He didn't look good against Mikey Garcia years ago. Mikey Garcia destroyed him. And he didn't look good against Lomachenko at all. Lomachenko, I don't even know if he hit Lomachenko once. And all these other guys Lomachenko had fought, he had just looked so good. Outside of the Salido fight, he looked good against everyone. And it's not going to be one of those fights. I think Lomachenko is going to start off slow, which he normally does. First couple rounds, he's going to fill you out. This is when, Walters needs to jump on it early. Go to his body, because it's going to be hard to hit this guy in the head, man. The guy is moving all over the place. It's going to be hard to hit the land to the body because this guy's so quick on his feet. But I don't know what else to really say. I really don't know what Walters need to do, but other than to slow this guy down. That's my only way that I can see Walters winning this fight because Loma is going to find a way to get in. He's going to be the one hitting Walters. And Walters defensively is better than some of these other guys. I think Walters is better than Gary Russell. Stylistically, this is a better stylistic matchup or a tougher fight for Loma than Gary Russell was. Okay? Because Gary Russell he was very predictable. And once Loma figured out his speed and adjusted to it, got used to it really early, he got in there and destroyed Gary Russell for the whole fight. I think Walters bring more to the table. He does bring more to the table, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. And this is a problem too. This is another reason why I'm worried about Walters. I don't want to go too much based on, lack of activity, because he didn't fight on all year. But, I seen him at the weigh-in and Walters looked great. I think he's ready. I don't want to always judge, the lack of activity. I know he hasn't fought all year, but he looks ready. I think he's ready. There's no doubt in my mind that Walters is ready. I think both of them are ready. But it's a psychological aspect about all of this that I think favors Lomachenko. Because Walters is coming from a fight that he felt that he won clearly. And he thought that he got robbed. And many fans thought he got robbed. I remember everybody was making videos about it. And in his mind, he thinks he has to win by KO. Okay? He believes that. He's not getting a decision. And that's kind of bad to me. I don't think that's good because this could lead to frustration. If he's having trouble in this fight and he's going rounds and rounds and, Loma's got to jump on him early or, if he does, he in his mind feels like he has to get a knockout. And you don't want him to start trying to wing up a big shot and win the fight when clearly he needs to try to outbox and outwork Lomachenko. This is what he needs to do. But if the guy in his mind thinking, I got to knock this guy out, he's going to become frustrated if he's unable to do it. And as the fight goes on, he's going to lose even more rounds because Loma's not trying to knock him out. I mean, maybe he is, but he feels like he probably feels like he's the superior boxer between the two, just like many people do. I mean, listen, he's the favorite to win, right? But Walters is going in there thinking that he has to knock him out for good reason. Because he knows he's not going to win on the card. Just for the reasons I said in the beginning of this video. Lomachenko is the star of this fight. Okay? He's the guy that HBO is pushing. He's the guy that Bob Arum is pushing. He's a $1 million fighter here. So, I just can't pick Walters. He has a good chance of winning. And he has a better chance of winning more than the other guys, even Salido, because I thought Loma was going to win that fight. I didn't know Salido was going to come in like that, you know? And even watching that fight again, it's like, damn, if Loma were to ever fight Salido again, it's still like, I'm still not even sure if Loma will win in a rematch because the way Salido fought him, it really would depend on the ref. If we get a ref that's going to take points for those low blows, then there's no way Salido's going to win that fight, but it depends on the ref, if they were to fight again. But I think technically Walters has the best chance. Plus, he has the puncher's chance. He can end your night with one shot. So I think Lomachenko is going to win a decision. I think Walters could win on the cards. I think he's that good. It just really depends on what he does. He has to find a way to slow this guy down. But Loma's very, very skilled. He's very, very skilled. And even though I don't think he's going to be making Nicholas Walters look like a bad fighter, I don't think he's going to be in there toying with him like he's done with other fighters. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to fight a very cautious fight. I don't think it's going to be an excited fight. And I said this in my other video. I think it's going to be a highly technical fight. And some people prefer that, but people see the matchup. It's a great matchup. Might not be a great fight. Might not be exciting. It might be a very technical fight because Nicholas Walters is a pretty good technical fighter. He's not just all about power. All right? It's just that some of the things that Loma do, he stands out amongst boxers with the things that he do. And I think he's going to win a decision because of that. But I do think Nicholas Walters has the best chance of beating him and ending his whatever. He's people consider him to be. Sometimes I feel like he's really good, and sometimes I feel like people are overrating him a little bit, just a little bit. As good as he is, I don't know. HBO pushing him a little too hard. He needs to beat guys like Walter, and then let's push him a little bit. Okay. So anyway, I guess I'll speak briefly on the purse thing. I saw that Walters was getting the 300K, and Loma's getting 1 million. And I made a video on this earlier this year, in response to Dante and Dream Chasing. We was making videos back and forth back then earlier this year. And listen, we know what happened. I said back then that Walter said I took the 550,000 and Loma was getting 850, 900 rumored. Okay. He should have took it back then, and I see what Loma, I see what Walters was trying to do. He was trying to play hardball, but it doesn't always work in your favor. And in your mind, you want that money because now you're taking it for 300. You're taking it for less. So in reality, he wanted that money, but he wanted to see if he can get more. And he wasn't going to get it. And I explained why. And I named all these other fighters and what their purses were. And I'm like, Walters is lucky to get 550 because now he took 300. Now he's taking 300 to fight Loma. And now Loma is making even more. He's making $1 million for this fight. So, that's that. I don't really care about the money, I think Nicholas Walters, like I said back then, and like I said in general before, this is how I'm going to end the video. These fighters need to worry about the big money, the big bucks, the fame, the popularity when they beat those fighters. If you think you could beat Lomachenko, do it. All that, he's getting 900, I'm getting 550. That's not going to matter after you beat Lomachenko, because if you beat him, now you're going to get the money in the next fight. You're going to have the demands and stuff. People are going to pay attention to you now because you the guy that knocked out Lomachenko or beat Lomachenko. Okay? And you beat him not in his second professional fight. You beat him after he's beaten some good fighters. After he's became a champion. So it means more now. You just listen, the star and the fame, the money is gonna come. Just gotta put in the work. All right. This is like the ultimate test right now for both fighters. All right. So I'm gonna leave it at that. It's gonna be on HBO, like I said. I'll leave if you want to watch my older videos on this fight. I'll leave them in the description, so the links will be there. And I'll see you guys after the fight.